Yeah,
I feel like they could have just gone, let's just scan the Earth. Oh, there's a bunch of fucking people down there.
Yeah, but there's nothing on the Earth to do the thing, to power the... I don't know how satellites work.
Hi, I'm Alan,
And I'm Russell,
and this is Popculture Pontification.
the show where we talk about... I had to check what we're talking about. Where we talk about books and My Kitchen Rules and wrestling.
We'll see about the My Kitchen Rules and wrestling. Too.
Well, we better talk about it because I haven't got much else.
Okay, well, I'm going to get outvoted because also is a recurring guest. First recurring guest as well, actually. We have Timothy Barrett.
Wow. I was going to do this big hype I'm back thing, but now you've said my full name and I'm upset.
Russell said my full name last week.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Your full name is cool.
My full name is cool.
Yeah, okay. I'm back by popular demand.
Yes.
Your fans demanded and you supplied, so you're very
That's
good at
it,
listening
yeah.
to your fans.
You had a lot of groundswell.
Yeah, a lot of like Tim Barrett 11XO just commenting the same thing had this guy back on the show.
I don't know what that means. 11XO, what does that mean?
No, just a username. Like multiple usernames going down. So it's like Tim Barrett 001, 002.
Whenever you say anything, I just assume it's a wrestling reference. So
You'd
you're
like
like
to think that.
Tim Barrett 11XO. And I was like, oh shit, is that like some sort of cool wrestling reference I don't get?
Yeah, it's my finishing move. Also, I am very excited that Russell brought up wrestling and My Kitchen Rules because I'm a big fan of both.
Okay.
So-
I don't like either,
No.
so I'm
See
going to
you later, Alan.
catch you later. No, Timothy is on because we're losing...
Listeners, so fast.
So quickly, yes, quick, fucking somebody fart or something. No,
We brought him in a Poochie-like fashion to try and resurrect our popularity.
If I could remember any Poochie quotes, that would be really good.
cram it with walnuts.
Yeah.
No, because Russell's going on holiday next week. And
Yay!
For like a month, everybody's really excited. Nobody cares.
Oh.
Actually, today at work.
Okay.
Right,
Oh, we got a funny story?
Here we
it's
go.
only short.
It better be funny though. If it's not funny, I'm cutting it.
I went and talked to one coworker this morning. I said, "Oh, hey, how are you?" And they said, "Oh, yeah, I'm good. How are you?" And I said, "I'm a bit tired, actually." And she said, "Pfft, what do I care? You're going on holiday." It was in a good-natured way. So I said, "Oh, all right then."
She then proceeded to throw a cup of coffee in it.
And so I went to talk to another coworker, and I said, "Oh, hey, how are you doing?" She said, "Oh, I'm fine. How are you?" I said, "I'm good," just in that, non-committal, good way.
You learned your lesson from the last conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then she said, "Pfft, "No wonder you're going on holiday." I couldn't win, so I just shut up and didn't talk to anyone else.
It sounds like you just were really trying to kill time at the start of the day. It's like, I better go say hi to everybody
Yeah.
instead of actually doing my job.
There's like 60 people on the floor. I can kill the first hour easy.
Do you have 60 people in your office?
Yeah, probably.
That's a
Holy
lot
crap.
of people.
We got like 1,500 staff.
Okay.
Wow.
I don't know anything about your job.
Yeah.
So there you go. So Russell, we'll
Yes.
start with you. Do you want to get this stupid My Kitchen Rules nonsense out of the way first?
Sure.
Ugh.
Why
Alright. I'm just going to go read a book or something while you two
Okay.
talk about this.
I'm so excited. I haven't watched any of the season, but I'm excited to hear updates because I follow it on the social medias,
Really?
the tweets and the instas and all that.
I see.
Yeah.
Well,
Would it be gauche of me if whenever I hear something I don't like, I just make a small raspberry sound in the background? Would that be gauche?
I feel like you could go,
I think the groan would be more appropriate.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll
and,
see.
and
I'll
less
see.
childish.
I'll see how I feel on the
Okay.
inside. See what comes naturally.
Yeah.
So, My Kitchen Rules is a Australian cooking show.
Off to a good start.
All right, I'll be good.
It's a competitive show between teams of amateur cooks. They organise into pairs, and basically the first round, which is the only part I ever watch, is called the Instant Restaurant Round, and they welcome the judges and the other contestants into their home and serve them like a restaurant-style meal.
On that, I'm just gonna cut in there.
Go for it.
Russell, been on the show for 5 minutes, I'm forgetting everyone's name. Russell makes a very good point. The instant restaurant round is the only good round and segment of the entire show. Also, everyone seems to have really nice houses.
Yeah, they do. I think there's
like
like a minimum wealth level you have to have.
Yeah,
in
and,
the show.
and it's like millionaire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think maybe before anybody goes into the houses, they get interior designers to come in and
I think they
spruce
just
it
move
up?
them. I think there's movement to the house. Like, where
Just some Airbnb. They just go.
Yeah.
I work X job and I live in a bad suburb. Not anymore. You're
There's-
a lawyer.
There's a team on, and they always characterize the teams. So there's the police officers, or the dads, or the whatever.
So every
And-
reality show ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And two of the contestants this time are characterized as the battlers. And the guy's like a tradie and the wife's a cleaner.
Oh, like every meal is like meat and 2 veg.
Well,
Yeah.
they live in like a nice looking house and they're bogonads. But they have a boat and they live by the beach. Like, they're not battlers. They don't live like a fibro shack in Lathlane or anything. Anyway, I've watched every episode so far.
Wow.
Disappointing.
I'm a little disappointed in myself. But it's very entertaining despite being, pretty
Awful.
trashy.
God.
It's a highly entertaining show.
I'll take your word on that.
Yeah.
But the reason it's so interesting is because, as well as watching the show and like looking at the things they're cooking, and you say, oh, that looks pretty tasty or whatever. There's like this meta level where you analyze like the contestants and the storylines that the producers are playing up, which plays into the wrestling angle.
No, yeah, you
Oh,
brought this
wow.
up. You were like,
Here we go.
I want to connect my kitchen rules with wrestling.
Yeah, I do.
And-
Now, I mentioned earlier, sorry to interrupt, but I love wrestling. I love my kitchen rules. They're nothing alike. So I'm excited to see where you go with this before I get upset.
Okay. Well, in wrestling, and I don't watch wrestling, but
Yeah,
So
okay.
is there going to be a lot of assumptions made
there's a
here?
lot of, speculation on my
Your unhealthy week-long obsession with wrestling has
Yeah.
come to a head at this podcast.
Yeah, all week on like Facebook and stuff.
Yeah.
You've just been posting links to like wrestling and stuff, and
I
you
posted like one thing.
it's
You
100% increase to what you used to post.
You linked me a wrestling quiz night like 3 times, and then Layla was posting it on my wall, and it was just
It
crazy.
was like obvious for you.
I guess.
For those wondering, Layla is my lovely girlfriend who I have nothing bad to say about. Because if
Yeah.
I ever do Russell, we'll just send her the audio.
Or she might just listen.
Nah, it's not gonna happen.
Later, please listen to the podcast. Anyway, in wrestling,
Yep.
everybody knows wrestling is not real. The fights aren't.
They
you know,
choreograph.
they're a work.
Well, good wrestling term.
Yeah.
They-
Wrestling
they-
terminology
they-
is the best
You've
jargon
been
ever.
doing a lot of research
It
by
is,
the
it is.
sounds.
I'm really impressed that you've used word correctly in a sentence, but
And jobber, I know what a jobber
you
is.
do
now.
know what a jobber
That's
is.
the best word.
I'm a jobber. But no, yeah, the endings are pre-made, predetermined, but the actual fight and the choreograph is all made up on the spot. Like
Right.
the match.
Hasn't there
happens on
been
the
a
spot.
few times where it's gone the opposite way than what they planned?
Yes, when people get like knocked out and they
Yeah.
pin them just to end the match, or there's like screw jobs where people have like behind the scenes have made things happen, and there's big controversies around it. But it'll take me too long to go into it.
It's like, don't get me started.
Don't get me started. My God.
So I don't mean to disparage wrestling, but
Okay,
the
good start.
outcome of a fight is
Predetermined.
predetermined
Yeah.
in order to advance a storyline.
Yes. I see how you're relating this to my kitchen rules.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think this
Because
is all fucking rigged?
Oh,
My kitchen
I'd-
rules is rigged?
Absolutely.
it's not necessarily rigged, but clearly the producers are selecting people who they know are obviously good contestants. And then there are people who may be shitty at cooking, but they're an entertaining character.
Yeah.
So they get onto the show.
Yeah, because it draws
And they
those
set them up
viewers
to
in.
lose.
Like every year there seems to be like one couple or team that are just like the bitches.
Yeah, the villains. The villains.
They're like, oh, this is just garbage.
You don't know how to cook, judges. Like, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they make it all the way to the end, and then they lose to, like, the other team that are actually really good at cooking, but they've been, like, the sleeping giant the
Yeah.
entire time, so no one's really paid attention. Then they're like, but we don't want the villains to win, so we'll cheer for this other team, and then the best
Yeah.
cooks win.
And again, wrestling, those people are the heels.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
faces
As opposed
and
to the
heels
faces.
are
Yep,
my
yep.
extent of my knowledge
I'm
of
impressed,
the
I'm
terminology,
impressed,
yeah.
Yep.
And I only know face and heel because you've told it to me like a million times.
It's important terminology.
And so, like, this year there were... I don't know what the wrestling term is for, like, the freaks. But there was a couple, and the guy was, I think, 24, and the woman was 52.
Oh, they were
cougar.
the couple they were dating?
Yeah.
These two? Yeah, I heard about them on
Yeah.
like the radio when I was driving to work.
And, you know, if that works for you, fine. Whatever.
Yeah, if you like a dry vagina, go for it.
Yeah.
Wow. I
But-
didn't sign up for this.
They were obviously not very good at cooking. And they were clearly
Well,
just
one
on the
only-
show as like a
Yeah, one of them has
curiosity.
got like 40 years on the other one,
Yeah.
so she should be better, but I guess his experience.
She's
kinda-
only used to cooking with war rations.
and he's used to cooking with Play-Doh.
Yeah. So is there like a wrestling term for somebody who's, you know, not expected to win, but like,
Like an underdog?
no, like a bizarre sort of character?
Well, there's been a lot of
Gold
bizarre
dust.
wrestling characters.
Yeah, like the boogeyman. Oh, Let's not talk about this. But no, yeah, I know what you mean.
Let's not go down this rabbit hole.
But there's like wrestlers that they characterize that are just weird as hell that no one ever thinks will get anywhere. Sometimes they do, but not usually. They had like a clown. They have a guy in a turkey suit called the Gobbledygooker. The Gobbledygooker. He debuted at the same night as The Undertaker, and he's still just as current as The Undertaker is. No, he's never beaten The Undertaker, but he hatched from an egg, and it's just this guy in this fucking turkey suit.
Do you think that this is like Lady Gaga's fucking father or something?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But yeah, the Gobbledygooker, and he's like a wrestling icon.
I don't know if you're making this up or not.
That sounds like you're faking it up.
No, I'm not. I'm absolutely serious.
Right. It's like, oh, there was a wrestler. He was made of meat. He was called Figurburp.
Yeah.
This is as legitimate as what you just said.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's how my kitchen rules is like wrestling in my mind. Obviously, there's no physical altercations. The field of battle is the cooking.
The dinner table.
And also the like backstage bitching.
Now, Tim, as a fan of...
That's hatching from the egg.
Tim has just showed me a picture of a Gobbledygooker, and it looks like... It looks like Pluck a Duck on LSD.
It does look like Pluck a Duck, yeah. If he became a wrestler.
If he became a wrestler and did a lot of hard drugs.
Yeah.
Now, Tim, as a fan of wrestling and My Kitchen Rules...
Yep.
How do you feel about Russell's theorem?
I think Russell's made some very valid points.
Thank you. I'm not going completely crazy.
No, absolutely not. I think it's a bit of a stretch, but I can see the connections between the two, and I'm pretty impressed.
Oh, thank you.
Not happy, but impressed.
Well, do you think this is going to have you have a new appreciation for My Kitchen Rules now?
Well, I already have an appreciation for it, but I think that I'm definitely going to try and pitch to some sort of network producer studio to have like My Wrestling Rules. Right, they cook and then the finalists wrestle or something.
That'd be amazing.
That would be
What if
I would into that.
For like the elimination round.
My wrestling,
like a wrestling round.
Yeah.
My Wrestling Rules is just they wrestle and then the winners get to eat.
Yeah,
the losers just go hungry. Yeah.
But they have to watch them eat. Well, they just have a Type A deathmatch, right?
Yeah.
Making references.
Yeah, it's a snake.
Yeah, that's true.
No, that's a taipan. Not a taipan.
Keep going.
Tangents are like what this show's all about.
Yeah.
Okay.
And interruption.
As long as it's not like something only the three people sitting at this table will get.
Well, I'll talk about it. You can cut it.
Okay, sure.
But anyway, so Russell linked to me, put on Facebook, basically, a list of wrestling matches that he found interesting, which got me very concerned because I was like, it's insane that he was listing the list of wrestling matches, which is numerous and ridiculous. And I was like, he doesn't want to jump into this rabbit hole. I better be a good guy and see if he needs some counseling. So of course I asked him if he needed help, and then he just said Type A deathmatch, which is where the wrestlers take their hands, then they dip them in glue, and then they stick shards of glass on them, and then they wrestle with that.
It sounds like some sort of back alley boxing technique.
That's what I thought, and I was like, "There's no way!" Like, there's all kinds of crazy stuff, and there's I've seen razor wire matches where they replace the ropes with the razor wire and stuff like that.
Electrified cage matches.
Electrified cage. I've seen all those kind of things. I've never seen a Type A death match. Anyway, I went and googled it. Turns out there's a whole bunch of them, and it was horrifying. I've never seen anything like it. They were
it reminds me of when Mo tried to teach him how to box.
Yeah.
And he had like the barbed wire around the boxing.
They don't let us use that no more.
But yeah, that's what they did. I watched the match and it was horrifying. And then I ended up in that weird part of YouTube, the wrestling community YouTube, where it was this guy getting his tongue pierced by a big pair of scissors. Like legitimately pierced. And it was horrible.
Part of a match?
And it was part of a match, yeah. It was like a hardcore match.
You just stab a pair of scissors.
He pulled the guy's tongue out, the camera was right on his face, and he just like jammed it through his tongue and then let him go, and the scissors were just free sitting there in the tongue. It was horrible.
Why didn't he pull it out immediately?
He was just like, selling, and I was like, I don't think he's selling at this point. He's actually in agony. That's horrible. Like, it went right through. It's like a proper pair of like sewing scissors. Like, they were big.
He's like, I got a great trick, but I can only do it once.
Yeah, it's like, and you see all these like punctures where they've tried earlier in the night, and it's like, I don't think it'll go through. We'll just do it in the match. It's fine.
Alright, we'll puncture it half the way through. That way it'll be easier on the
Yeah, exactly. It's like, we'll just get it to heal slightly, and then we'll just drive it through.
Oh, God.
So yeah, wrestling.
Well, thank you for that 15-minute fucking
tangent
of wrestling.
Well, Alan, what pop culture artifacts would you like to unearth this week?
Okay, well, I have been eagerly awaiting a game that came out the day after we recorded the podcast last week.
So you've had a whole week
a whole week with it. Yeah, it's called Superhot.
Mm.
Now, do either of you know anything about this?
Yes.
You do? Have you played it, Russell?
No, I haven't, but I've read about it.
Okay, so basically it is this... It started out as one of those make a game in a day sort of...
A game
day.
Oh,
yeah. Game day. I don't know what they're called.
Game jam.
Game jam. Thank you, Russell. Yes. Started as a game jam. And you are basically this person who is playing this video game. And in this video game... In the game, you're a person playing a game. It's a bit meta.
They can just have an aneurysm.
Like, it's all old sort of DOS style interface and all that sort of stuff. And it's like somebody's contacting you. It's like, hey, have you played this game? It's like revolutionary, you know.
And then you log in, and it's a person playing a game who gets sent a message.
That it's meta.
It's just a recursive loop forever, yeah.
Like Inception.
No, but you hack into this mainframe as the character, and you jack into this game where time only moves when you move. And you have guns, and all the enemies are made out of like red crystal and stuff like that. They're humanoids.
It's a first-person shooter?
It's a first-person shooter, yeah. And somebody will shoot at you. Bullets don't travel like instantaneously. Like they come at you slowly enough that you can dodge them.
Mm.
And so you'll like be sitting there, and somebody will fire a shotgun, and then you'll stop, take your hands off of the keys, and then you just see the bullets slowly moving towards you. And then you get time enough to decide how you're going to dodge it, and whether you're going to jump over it, or like pick up a beaker or something and throw it at the guy, or like throw your own weapon at the bullets, because then the gun gets disintegrated by the bullets, and then you can like keep moving. And it is really addictive to play. Yeah. It's it cost me about $20, I think, to buy it on Steam. The campaign is really short. It's only like 2 hours long or something like that. But it's quite addictive. There's a lot of different challenge modes and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So my complaints are that the campaign is not very long, like I said.
Yeah.
And the cutscenes between levels seem to take forever. Because they're used to everything moving at the pace you want it to move at.
Yeah.
Like if you wanted to, you could just run and gun this. And there's like speed challenges and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. There's probably people on Twitch speed running it. And
stuff. Oh yeah, absolutely.
And in the game, there are like speed challenges and all that sort of big levels and da-da-da. But actual time usually takes you about 7 to 8 seconds to beat a level.
Right.
You know, but because you're moving slowly and you'll stop and you see a bullet coming towards you and there's a gun like right there. Like, can I edge close enough to pick up the gun before the bullet hits me and stuff like that. And there's only about 15 levels in the game. Paraphrasing, of course. I'm not sure exactly the amount.
It's like 600.
600.
It's between the two.
Somewhere in between those two, yes.
When you beat all those missions, is there like any extra stuff to the game?
Oh, like extra content?
Yeah, like is there like procedurally generated levels or multiplayer?
No, there's only just the levels. All the levels are made out of concrete, basically.
Right.
So they're just everything, even like moving vehicles or whatever, seem to be made aesthetically out of concrete.
Okay.
So it's a very stark difference, because it's just you're black, and all the weapons are black, but the enemies are bright red, and everything else is white.
Okay.
White and grey. So it's a very stark contrast.
Very like DOSy type game, like you were saying.
Yeah, like very old school sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, in between the levels is you like getting kicked out of the game because like the mainframe's found that you've hacked in, and then it's like the person you're talking to via DOS text or whatever saying, "Oh yeah, here's like the new updated version. Have fun." And then eventually it goes like you get hacked by the bad guys and all that sort of stuff. And it's the whole story. I'm not going to go into it. But the things is like it's like is the text coming up like character by character, and you can speed yours up so it goes quicker. Yeah. But the person you're talking to is just like It's
like a printer.
Yeah, basically an old like dot matrix printer, and that just seems to drag on forever. But once you beat the campaign, then you can just go. There's an option to just go levels, and then you can just play through it, level after level after level after level.
Yeah.
And whenever you beat a level, it gives the option of saving your run and uploading it in the game to like their server, where you can like show links to all your various runs and stuff. And there's like, you have a baseball bat and you hit somebody with a baseball bat and it starts to get fractured, and after about 4 hits with the baseball bat, then you're just holding a stump. But then you can throw the stump at people and stuff like that, and you can punch people 3 hits and they shatter. And it's really addictive.
Nice.
And it's very disconcerting if you play it for like 5 hours, which is what I did. Then I get up and look around the room, and it's like, why is everything
real?
It's real. Stuff's only supposed to move when I move.
Yeah.
It's very disconcerting. But I think that unless they release more levels, which is some of the rumor that's going around, is they're going to release more levels as like free DLC.
Yeah.
I think $20 is a bit much for the sort of entertainment I got out of it.
It's like almost like an unfinished game then.
It seems unfinished. It seems unfinished. It seems like there should be more. It seems like they rushed through the campaign.
Right.
Cool.
But what they've got is entertaining.
Yes, and it gets super frustrating because one of the first like challenge modes is katana only. So in areas where you usually have a gun, you've only got a katana, and you just got to figure out how to like. And there's one level that's just a long stretch of hallway, and in the game you just have a gun immediately, and you shoot one and throw the gun at the other guy, and then you work your way down there dodging bullets till you can punch him to death or whatever.
Yeah.
But if you've got a katana, then that doesn't work. If you're really good and you can time it just right, you can cut bullets out of the air with the katana, but it's really finicky. But yeah, so I spent about 20 minutes on that level alone, because I'd be like, fuck, I'm dead. I'm dead again. Because once you get to that level, like, enemies' bullets travel faster and all that sort of stuff. And there's, like, lots of different game types in the challenge modes and stuff like that. You can run through the entire game, but, yeah.
Cool.
I'd recommend at least waiting for it to go on sale, perhaps, and then giving it a shot.
What would you rate it?
Would I rate it?
Not that this is that part of the segment, but I still want to know for my own personal.
For, like, immersion and, like, addictiveness, it's really an innovative game. I'd probably give it like a 7 out of 10.
Not bad.
So yeah, there you
For,
go. Russell, you fucking laid down the challenge of what do I got to talk about. What do you think of that?
That was a good segment.
Thank you. Thank you, you're welcome.
I enjoyed it.
I didn't think I was that aggressive about asking for your input.
Maybe I'm reading into it, but...
Maybe you are.
Also, Russell didn't groan at all.
No, not once. Not once.
I feel like a mediator.
More power to you.
What
about you, Tim? What would you like to talk about? You're here as a guest.
I've actually prepared this week. I was going to talk about Walking Dead, and now I'm not allowed to because Russell hasn't.
Before the podcast recorded, Tim was like, I can talk about The Walking Dead. Russell was like, don't you fucking dare.
Don't even think about it. And then I went on to proceed to try my hardest not to spoil it, but talk about all the exciting stuff that had happened.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Although, you can sort of talk about The Walking Dead later, because Daryl from The Walking Dead was in the Boondock Saints.
Yeah, he was.
Yes, which is our forced review.
And he had a terrible Irish accent.
Oh, God, I'm glad I didn't watch
I don't know what his actual nationality is. Is it American?
He's American.
Okay.
Makes good American. Anyhow.
Because he's one?
Yeah, funnily enough. The only other show that I can think of that I've watched is The 100.
No, I don't know anything about this. What is this?
Oh, Russell, do you know something about The 100?
Yeah, it's a young adult targeted show, I'd say. It's about this group of teenagers who they've just been like wiped out. Well,
do you want me to take over? Because you're struggling.
I'm not struggling, man. I got this.
You got like the demographic of who watches it, and then you got the.
That was about as far as I got before I decided I wasn't going to watch it.
It's for teens.
It's for teens.
Apocalypse. Jeez.
Anyway, all the humans on Earth are gone. They're all up in space on this spaceship.
Yeah.
And then 100 teenagers get sent down to find out if it's safe for everybody to come back.
Why that many? It seems like just
because the show's
10.
called The 100.
It seems like 10 would be sufficient.
Well, because they're prisoners. So they're like, oh, we'll just send the
get rid of all
down.
these prisoners.
Yeah, so they send the prisoners down because they can't float kids, I think is my understanding, which is where they like just send them off into space for doing stupid stuff like stealing water and shit. So it's like...
seems like you're just setting up a situation where you got a prison planet.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very similar to our own country.
No, Earth becomes their planet, and you're like, no, we take over the planet, but we send all our prisoners down there.
Yeah, so they send the 100 down in a spaceship, thinking that they're just going to die because the whole planet's covered in radiation because it was like nuclear winter, basically. The whole planet was just irradiated. Send them down. They survive, obviously, because the show wouldn't happen if they didn't.
It's just it's a real mini-series. It's about 10 minutes.
It's about 10 minutes. They go down, and they're like, oh, it's poison, and they die, and that's the end. And then it's called The Zero.
Yeah.
So they drop down. Obviously, teenage dramas. People get killed. People get hurt. You know, whatever the kids.
People fall in love.
People fall in love. Lot of sex. A lot of lesbian sex. Sorry, a lot of implied lesbian sex, but a lot of like interaction. It's wonderful.
Just like they come out and like, man, that lesbian sex was great.
Just when I was in season 2, I was like, I don't know if this is gonna work, and then bam, lesbian. So I was like, it sold me. They got me back in.
Now, how many of the 100 are actual main characters? Because usually when it's like, oh, there's $1,000. Like
there's fucking millions of characters.
There's quite a few main characters.
In like, the only other example I can think of is 300. You know, there's like 3 main dudes that you know about in 300.
It's like half a dozen.
Well, yes, but of the 300, the vast majority of them are just dudes who are just like in the background.
But anyway, so the basic premise is they send these people down. The reasoning why is because the Ark is running out of food, so they're like, and other suppliers, so they're like, we need to go back down to the planet. It's been up there for like 100 years.
How long does
like
radiation last?
88,000 calories in a human body. That seems like a waste if they're running out of food.
Do you know what happens when you eat human flesh?
You get a taste for it?
No, like it messes you up.
Oh, it doesn't?
Yeah.
Really?
Well, if you eat human brains, it causes your brain to
like
trip
get bigger. You have double brain.
Double brain.
No,
And
you
then you
start
can, like, solve
like,
mysteries and
having
stuff.
mental illness.
There is something in human flesh that if you eat a lot of human flesh, it makes you go weird. Like you get all twitchy and weird, and it has like.
It may just be the psychological trauma of eating a human corpse.
I mean, I have done no research. I really know
Okay.
But this is just something I've picked up along the way.
There is cannibalism in the show. But anyway, we won't get into that. But anyway, they send them down. Things happen. Turns out they're not alone because that's every apocalyptic. Like,
There's mutant humans.
It's like a savage tribe
yeah.
of very attractive
Yeah.
teenage humans.
Exactly. And older men.
Really?
And older men. But their leader is a teenager, and she's the one that makes out with the
How
leader
does that
of
work?
The 100.
It's like, oh, here's these bunch of burly men. I was like, oh, I'm a hot teenage waif. I better run this group.
But then like one hit it because she's got black blood, and it's a whole nother thing because of the radiation. It's like the more I watch it, the more I don't like it. And this later
sounds
season
ridiculous.
is terrible. It was really good to start with because like, who are these other people? And then I realized it was a book, so I just read the book, and I was like, ah. And now it's nothing like the book.
Now you do this all the time.
I do. I ruin everything for myself.
You ruin everything because your favorite game series is BioShock.
Oh, we're going to talk about this, yeah.
And
it's the first example I thought of in my head.
You were really excited for BioShock Infinite.
I was extremely excited.
Extremely excited for BioShock Infinite.
One might say too excited.
A little bit too excited because you couldn't restrain yourself from reading the entire plot on Wikipedia.
Why did you do that?
It was even worse. It was while I was playing the game. I alt-tabbed out and I was like, I wonder who this Comstock guy is. Oh, he's me. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
you just read,
lines.
and then and you read everything, and you spoiled the entire game for yourself.
It was like Comstock, also known as Booker, and I was like,
what?
I'm Booker. No. Oh. I was so upset, and I never forgotten that, and I still don't stop myself from doing it. So anyway, 100.
So I read up about it. What happened?
So I read about what happened. Turns out it's nothing like the show. Things are happening. Teenage dramas. The third season is absolutely terrible. They were like, we're going to introduce the Ice Queen, which is the leader of another nation, because like they've kind of settled with the Grounders, as they call people from the ground.
Apparently they were like, oh, Earth is uninhabited, but there's fucking hundreds of people living.
Yeah, because some of them are deformed, some of them aren't. They've just adapted.
Is
to
this
radiation.
like advanced technology sort of spaceship? I mean, is this current level
like,
stuff?
Yeah, it's super high.
I feel like if we can look at people with current satellites from space.
Yeah,
like they could have just gone, let's just scan the Earth. Oh, there's a bunch of fucking people down there.
Yeah, but there's nothing on the Earth to do the thing, to power the... I don't know how satellites work. I think you need some sort of Earth-based...
There's nothing on the Earth to send up the electricity to the satellites.
There's a power cord come out. The big one power cord.
The intro clip.
Shut up, guys!
I meant on the ship.
I guess. I don't know if that would work, because I figured you need something on the Earth to receive the signal. No?
It's just like a big telescope on the ship to look down at the planet. That's what a satellite is.
Spaceships can talk to other spaceships.
Yeah.
I haven't been into space like you two, so...
Well, Tim, what would you rate the 100 if we're going to be doing this?
Lesbian scenes out of 10 is my rating.
Lesbian scenes out of 10. Alright, fair enough.
No sense. The rest of the series, so like
how many boobies do you see per episode?
Oh, zero boobies.
There's no
zero boobies, but there's like macking and stuff. You know, getting in it.
I've already lost interest.
Well, it's a kid. It's not a kid show. It's like an M show, so it's not going to be like American Horror Story. Oh, I could have talked about American Horror Story. Also a disappointing season. But anyway,
You can now proceed to talk about American Horror Story.
Nah, that's alright. I'm on the 100. So, third season.
We're pretty much done with the 100.
Oh, okay, yeah. So, super disappointing. Much like American Horror Story. Let me talk about that. Had Lady Gaga in it. Really excited. 'Cause it's like her first television role.
Okay, you gotta tell me what American Horror Story is, because I got no idea.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Russell? You know? Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
We're
Okay.
bitter old men.
So,
we don't know youthful
yeah, I suppose.
TV shows.
So, American Horror Story.
Cheers!
We're everywhere.
Mash.
What's your name?
I want to know MASH. I want to see more about a hospital in the war.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great TV.
MASH is a great show.
MASH is a
Really?
great show.
Ugh, I feel so young. That's not so bad.
Well, I didn't watch it on original release.
Yeah.
Oh,
This
okay.
is all
I thought like
fucking
you
It
were
was
real.
just on after
I thought you were
school.
like in the show,
No.
or you were like it was based on the life of Russell.
It was,
Russell
yeah.
Tessel.
Yeah.
I was actually Hawkeye.
Oh, okay. Is that a ship?
No, it's a
Oh,
character.
it's the Arrow guy.
Yes, no, you nailed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, what the fuck is this American Horror?
Okay, so American Horror Story has been going on for 4 years, 4 seasons, and each season.
First I've heard of it.
Okay, each season
I haven't heard of it, but
has almost the exact same cast, like the same actors in it, but every season they play a different character in a different setting. So the seasons
hate
are
that.
completely different. I thought I would do that as well, but it's really interesting because each season is completely different. So they're based off of like real life events, like real life horror events.
That seems a bit
based
gauche.
on actual events.
Yeah, but they take it to the extreme.
Yeah.
So they
Like
have,
the actual event is that a cup moved slightly.
Yeah, but then
It's like tsunami.
Yeah.
yeah, but in the style of American Horror Story, everyone has sex with that cup because that's the kind of show it is. It is just like I saw
Is there like
so
a-
much of
is
Lady
there like
Gaga's
a-
body.
Columbine series?
No, but we'll get to that.
That's a dark place.
Yeah, that's a very dark place.
It's a real horrible thing that happened.
Yeah, but it's a horror story. It's
Is
not
there one
real
about the
life.
Holocaust?
Oh, I just
Yeah.
thought it was just horrible things.
Jesus, Russell. Good lord. Just all your Jewish viewers just dropped off. Anyway.
They know I love it.
Yeah. First season was Murder House, which was based off this like real life house that had a lot of horror stuff that happened in it.
Was it like is it based off like urban legends or real shit that happened?
Well, it's based off of claims of things that have happened. So like
So
hauntings.
urban legends.
So urban legends. So haunting. I don't know.
So
what
thank
urban
you.
legends
That's all I wanted to know.
Okay, yeah. So, but it changes. So the first season is about Murder House,
That'd be
which
amazing
is
if they did a whole season like about 9/11 and everybody was having sex.
It's like that plane's about to hit the building.
Oh.
Whip my dick out.
any excuse. But yeah, so first season is Murder House. I feel like I've said that 6 times now, and these people move into a house and shit happens. So the house comes with a maid, and to everyone else she seems like a really old lady, but to the dad she's like super fucking hot, like really sexually
It's Lady
inappropriate. There's not Lady Gaga in the series, but she's like redheaded. She's fucking beautiful. She's very very pretty, and she has like she can just consent. Oh my god.
Consistently?
Consensually and consistently. Not consensually, absolutely not consensually. Tries to have sex with the husband and tries to seduce him, and he's like, oh, I can't, and then I can't remember if he gets one, and then she starts seducing him with another woman, and it's madness. But it's great.
Sexy
It's
madness.
great, but there's all this weird shit in it. Then second season is Asylum, which is based off of the real events that occurred in asylums in the 50s.
Okay, so now it's
now
real.
it's based on real stuff, but then they obviously add a horror element to it. So there's like people getting fucked up. It's a terrible season 2. Season 3 was about witches. It had Emma Roberts in it, and that was fucking.
I have no
on
idea
point.
who that is.
Julia Roberts' sister,
Okay.
I think. She was in Unfabulous, which you won't get as Nickelodeon.
No.
She was
Shockingly
in.
enough, I have
She's
no
in
clue.
Where the Millers.
She the
daughter.
The daughter? Yeah, she's pretty fit.
She's very pretty. So she played this fucking
Russell's
massive bitch.
got a weird look in his face. You've never seen Where the Millers?
No.
Which is
No,
a
it's the one with
fantastic movie.
Jennifer Aniston?
and she like strip dances for everyone.
No, never mind.
No.
It's a good movie.
Wish.
I appreciated it.
Yeah, especially the snake bite on the
And,
dick.
yeah, the dick thing. I was about to say that with the kid where you type into Google actor with weird eyebrows and his picture comes up. Yeah.
He's
It's
also
that guy.
in what is it? The Maze Runner.
Maze Runner. Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway. Season 3 is
main
about
guy?
witches, and season 4 is about Hotel, which is based on which, if you watch the footage,
Which is based on Hostel, the movie.
No, we don't talk about Hostel. This movie scared the shit out of me. It's so graphic. Like, I like gore and stuff, but that movie.
Yeah, you're a huge fan of like Saw and.
I love
all
Saw. I love all that sort of gore stuff, but Hostel was just a little bit too real because there's just the scene where he cuts his Achilles heels and he goes to stand up and his like heels split apart and it's just and he falls over. I'm just like, oh god. Like I watched Human Centipede, all 3 of them. They're all terrible, and
They are,
I
yes.
didn't have any issue with them except when they were pulling the teeth out.
Maybe
in
it's
the first
like
one.
if it's fanatical, fantastical sort of stuff.
I guess.
Whereas like people getting sewed to each other, that would never happen in real life.
Yeah, it
but
wouldn't
somebody could fucking shank you.
Yeah, that would absolutely happen.
Yeah,
they'll just give it a snip, and that'll actually happen. So, and like removing of teeth, I can't handle because I just don't like the concept of it because it's gross. Anyway, season 4 was about the real world event of this lady.
So far, you've told me of one thing that was not real.
Well, I'm leading
the
to the 4th season.
Real.
The 4th season is the important one because it just finished. But the 4th season is based on this hotel in America where this like really weird event happened where there's like security camera footage on YouTube and stuff of this lady going backwards and forwards into an elevator, and the elevator the door's just not closing. And it looks like she's talking to someone, but you can
then she goes out.
She goes out and comes back in, and then goes out and comes back in, and then she's like looks like she's arguing with someone.
She walks off screen.
She walks off screen, and she's gone, and then the doors close and it disappears, and it's the creepiest footage.
I've actually seen this.
I've getting goosebumps thinking about it because it is like spooky shit scares the shit out of me. And it looks like legit footage. And anyway, like 3 days later,
I don't understand why that is creepy. Like, because it could just be some crazy one.
Because
it could just be.
Because people said she had like a psychotic episode, but 3 days later they found her body in the water cooler of that, or the water tank on top of the hotel. That was the last time.
Yeah, that would never happen to someone who had a psychotic episode.
I know. But
it's just like, it's the same reason why people tell ghost stories and they sound scary.
Yeah.
It's because of like the implied horror behind this video is why it looks creepy.
Yeah, because there's no context of who she's communicating to. Obviously, a psychotic episode would explain the conversation that she was having with apparent nothing.
Yeah.
But the fact that the lift wasn't closing, even though she was pressing the button to get it to close, and she was like panically closing it, trying to get it to close, it just wouldn't shut. So it's really spooky. So the whole season is loosely based on that, but it's got Lady Gaga in it. She has sex with like everything, and she is naked for like 90% of the show. So that's fantastic.
So it's just like, what sort of level of nudity are we talking?
Like everything but vagina.
Okay.
But everything. But there's gay couples in it, so there's guys getting it on. There's trans couples. There's everything you could ask for in a movie except like quality plot. Is in that in this TV series. Everything but
everything's
plot,
great. It's, if you want to have something to jack off to quietly to yourself, this is a great show.
Yeah. Was any of this sex or nudity in the YouTube video of the woman in the elevator?
Oh, we forgot to.
Not.
Yeah, we forgot to mention that she was just banging herself the entire time.
Yeah, she was when she was closing the door. She was doing it with her penis because she's a dude now.
Apparently, she's a dude.
Yeah. Anyway, so the 4th season just finished, and they had their last episode, and all this stuff happened, and it was the worst series final I've ever watched in my entire life because I didn't even know the season was over. It just ended.
Did they? And what was their explanation for her ending up in the water tower?
That wasn't even a factor. It was just
based
on the hotel because the hotel was haunted. So that's what they based
terrible.
It. Yeah. So like crazy stuff happened. Like people went missing, and there was the Evan Peters who plays Quicksilver.
Mm-hmm. Which one?
Good one.
Avengers. Or X-Men?
X-Men, yeah.
So the younger guy.
The younger one, yeah.
Yes.
So Evan Peters, he was in all the season. He plays the owner of the hotel, who turns out to be the psychopath.
He looks like he's fucking 12, though.
I know, but he plays him so well, and he does this amazing accent. He's like, James Wash! And he's like really eccentric and over the top, wears pinstripe suits because he's from the 30s, and he is so fucking good in his role. It's the highlight of the series, that and Lady Gaga's titties. So, 5 out of 10.
5 out of 10.
5 out of 10.
If there was no
five
boobies.
Lady Gaga boobies.
If there was no boobies, what would the score be?
3 Evan Peters voice out of 10.
Alright, fair enough. Now we got to do something, Russell. We got to talk about our book club.
We do.
We're going to talk about our book club.
Since I'm going away next week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we got to get this out of the way.
Yeah, we better discuss The Martian by Andy Weir.
Correct. Now I think we'll leave the book club off until you get back, because I don't think you're going to be back within 4 weeks. I don't know if you'll have time to read a book while you're on holiday, so we'll just pick it up when you get back, I think.
I plan to read multiple books.
Yeah, but we haven't planned a book for the next one, so we can't... Thanks for pulling the curtain back and revealing that we hadn't planned ahead. So, we've done this a little bit back to front, because I watched the movie first, and then I read the book.
Yeah.
And you read the book, and then decided you weren't going to watch the movie.
I intended to watch the movie, but I ran out of time this week, because I watched way too much of My Kitchen Rules.
Okay, fair enough.
It's
good prioritizing there. Yeah. The movie is very good. Well, as a person who read the book before you saw and has not seen the movie, why don't you lead us off?
Also, I'd like to point out, good, but not Oscar good.
No, not Oscar.
Not Oscar good.
Not Oscar good.
Continue.
He should have eaten a raw fish.
He should have eaten a raw potato.
He ate many raw potatoes.
Yeah, he cooked them.
That's true, he did cook them.
Okay, the short summary of The Martian is that...
Well, it's written by a guy called Andy Weir. which I think is what we should.
I already said that.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Never mind.
So shut your whore mouth, Alan, and let me speak.
You just call me a whore?
Yes.
No, he said
he
said he had a whore mouth, which implies that dicks go in.
Yes.
You're fine.
I'm fine, yes. I'm just the person who sucks dick.
Yeah, you've just got the mouth for it.
Like, got a beautiful dick sucking mouth.
DSL. Dick sucker lip.
Anyway.
Keep going.
Anyway, The Martian.
This is a very crass episode.
Yeah, I bring it with me. We've already had races and Lady Gaga's titties. So
refers to the main character of the book, Mark Watney, who's an astronaut.
Thank God you remembered his name, because I fucking forgot.
You forgot somebody's name, Alan.
Yeah,
That's
it's
shocking.
amazing.
It's just known as Matt Damon, let's be honest.
He and his 5 astronaut buddies are on a Mars mission when there is a storm on Mars, and they have to quickly evacuate. But unfortunately, Mark gets separated and left behind because his vital signs go dead and everyone assumes that he's died.
He got hit by debris.
Yeah. The other astronauts take off, head back to Earth. They're very sad because Mark's dead, except he's not dead.
Oh, plot twist.
Yeah, he survived.
This is not a M. Night Shyamalan movie because the plot twist happened at the beginning.
Yeah. And so the movie follows the adventures of this incredibly smart
genius
scientist, engineer, botanist.
Sorry.
I made the same mistake when I was talking about it.
Oh, really?
In his efforts to stay alive and return to Earth from Mars with the...
Basically to stay alive long enough that they can come get him.
Yeah, he only has the resources to keep 6 people alive for a month, and
he stretches it out to...
He calculates that the fastest he would be able to get back is when the next Mars mission arrives, which is in 4 years' time.
Yes.
So...
Jesus.
Because he has no communication.
No, he has no communication with Earth.
Yes, correct.
And nobody knows that he's alive.
I suppose we should preface this as well with the fact that we're going to be talking spoilers here because we've read we're going to be talking about the whole book.
Yeah. Well, I've
covers
seen the
plot of the movie.
I've seen the movie.
All right, so Russell's read the book and you've seen the movie.
Yeah.
And I've done both. So
we're
you
perfect.
two make a whole person.
Yeah.
In regards to this.
I'm the head.
To be one with Russell. I'm the butt.
Yeah. So that sort of sets the scene.
And it's all about him solving problems.
Yeah.
Problem solver McGee. That's what we call him.
Most of the book is told through his journal entries.
Oh, that's cool.
Yes.
Because he thinks, eventually, even if he dies, space archaeologists might find his book and tell his story in the future.
Well, it's never stated that he's writing it down.
Well, he might be typing it or whatever.
Well,
in
to
the
cross
movie,
over into the movie, yes, he's doing video logs.
Yeah. Which makes for a better visual audio presentation.
Instead of just him going,
I was going to say,
fucking writing, my hand's killing me.
3 hours of just no audio, no sound, because there's
just all the only sound is like him.
Yeah, scratching. For 2.5 hours. I would pay to see Matt Damon do that.
Later on, other characters do get introduced. His fellow astronauts and the people back at NASA trying to re-establish contact with him once they realise that he's still alive. So, I liked the book.
Mm-hmm.
It was written in a very, sciencey sort of way. A lot of the book, which...
It was a lot of science, but it was written very humorously.
Yeah, and it was written so that I could, not understand all of the astrophysics and stuff, but at least get an idea of what he was trying to
They
work
never,
out.
went down to the level of showing his equations.
Yeah.
It was just him explaining how he did the complicated things that he did.
One scientific inaccuracy that got pointed out to me is that the air pressure on Mars is 0.1% of Earth's or whatever.
It's
There's almost
very
no
low
atmosphere.
pressure, yes. No atmosphere.
So how did the air build up enough force to knock over all of the shit at the start?
Science. I don't know. I know there are storms on Mars.
Yeah, but they're dust storms.
Yes, that's
which means they would generate some sort of wind.
Look, I'm not saying I'm a fucking
No, I'm defending what you're saying. I'm agreeing.
No, I believe that there is a storm. Storms that happen on Mars, but I don't know of their ferocity.
Okay. Anyway, I liked the technical style of it and also the sense of humour through the main character. I thought most of the other characters weren't very well developed.
Well, I suppose 90% of the book is just talking about a guy's personality coming through in the stuff he does. And the rest
so
of
we
it
got
is
to know
just
him really well, but the rest of them,
a bit shallow.
Yeah.
Which is unavoidable, I feel.
Anytime
it went back to a chapter where it was like, oh, we're on Earth now. I was like, get back to fucking Mars. I want to know what he's talking about. How did he solve that problem he just brought up?
But my only complaint with it is they spend billions of dollars to rescue this guy.
Correct.
they abandon their next Mars mission. They screw up China's next mission.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the end, they risk the lives of all the other astronauts to go back and pick him up.
Well, they didn't. The astronauts decided to do that.
Yes.
But then
there's that guy back on Earth who's like, the boss is like, oh, we can't risk it. It's too dangerous. We're not going to do it. And then the other guy's like, fuck you, Dad. We're going to rescue this guy. Hooah!
Which was played by Sean Bean in the movie.
Which
the guy who was like, we're going to do it. Fuck you.
Okay.
Because that's Sean Bean.
And I'm on the other guy's side. Sorry, Mark. You're dead.
Yeah. Well, they're saying that, or that it's been said, that I could be completely wrong, that it would have cost less money to actually go to Mars than it would have to produce The Martian, because it had such a high budget. I don't feel like that's actually true, but they could have...
possible, yeah.
But like they could have either gone to Mars or gone to somewhere in space for less money than it cost to make The Martian.
I'm not sure how much money it costs to make it, so I can't really give you any sort of yay or nay on that.
But if I was a decision maker, I would have let Mark Watney die.
You'd be like, fuck you.
It would have been a tragic loss, but
I think like the reason behind it is that up to now, we've lost nobody in space. We've lost people going to space.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
We've lost nobody in space.
Right.
Like anybody who's gone to space has come back.
So if they blow up in the stratosphere.
No, it doesn't count.
Doesn't count. Because I got a lot of them.
But like, yeah, it's a good running tally that we've got. Like everybody who's been out of the atmosphere has come back safe, and that's like the reason why people get to keep going.
Actually, I read a speech the other day. This is kind of a tangent. But
what? On this podcast? Get out of here.
Madness.
It was written for the Apollo 11 mission that put Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin on the moon.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the speech that would have been made by the president if they had not been able to get back off the moon.
Oh, it's like the alternate speech.
Shit.
It was like,
and it was all about like their tragic sacrifice and how like they would
prepared
be
for it.
Yeah.
Oh, they always do. Yeah, it's always contingencies.
Oh yeah, I suppose. But even still, that's a horrible speech after all.
Yeah, it was weird to read, knowing that they had come back.
Yeah. Did you know that there's next to no pictures of Neil Armstrong on the moon? Because he was the one taking the pictures.
Yeah.
No,
that makes sense.
Yeah. But there's like every picture you see of a person on the moon. That's Buzz Aldrin.
Ah, okay.
I feel like they could have, with the technology it would have taken to get them to the moon, I feel like they could have taken a better camera. Because they're really grainy. I'm not going to lie.
Well, maybe that was just the technology at the time. I don't know. This was like the fucking 60s.
They went into space.
Well, you know, when you want to like take some photos on a soundstage in Hollywood and make it look like the moon, you want it to be...
Yeah, you want a grainy level of...
that is true.
You want to make it look... It's like, look at this fidelity.
Yeah.
Oh, look, zoom in. Oh, there's... that guy's wearing a watch.
Urban Legends, American Horror Story Season 5.
On the moon.
Now, I'll talk about the discrepancies, but the changes between the book and the movie now, I feel like would be a good thing, yes.
I just want to say that despite my complaint about...
shallow characters and inaccuracies?
No, like the whole mission to save him.
Oh, yeah.
It was like a
Fuck him.
ridiculous waste of money and lives and resources. I did like that the movie was like such a cheerleader for science. Like, the stuff they managed to do in the book, although it is a fictional work. Like, it really makes you think, science is great. I love science. Give science more money.
Mike Watney really makes science cool.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. And I think they even have, like... Did they have Neil deGrasse Tyson as a cameo in the movie? I think they did. Maybe I'm remembering it incorrectly.
Yeah, it would have been.
Yeah, never mind. Tim doesn't know who that is. And
No, I don't
remember.
Anyway, well, carry on with your...
I was going to say, he definitely made science cool. I mean, when I got home, I went and bought a whole bunch of potatoes and tried to grow them.
Really?
No.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, you didn't have much.
What was the point of saying that?
I don't know. I was going to do something with it, and then it just didn't work out. I was hoping to get playoffs.
Did you really? Nah, no. Fuck you.
Yeah. I was just to be like, no. I'll be like, oh, okay.
I do have to ask.
I didn't realize this was a humorless podcast.
It just didn't seem to go anywhere. It seemed like just a needless burn.
In the movie,
yes,
was there like a large segment at the start of just Matt Damon shitting in a bucket?
No.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
Right. Because in the book there was a good, half a chapter devoted to him collecting his own feces.
Yeah, and the feces of his comrades.
Yeah, we saw him collecting poopy of other people.
Okay.
Yeah.
People poopy.
Now I won't talk about that. That's for later. I was going to bring up an issue I had with the movie. Let's talk about the changes that happened between the movie and the book. They skim over a lot of stuff, like a lot of the minutiae.
In the movie.
In the movie, sorry. They got it. Well, obviously they had to, because otherwise it'd be a 15-hour movie.
Yeah,
Matt
long
Damon.
segments would be really fucking boring.
He'd be like going like, how do I solve this? This is how I solve it. And then he goes on and he solves it.
Yeah.
So a lot of it's implied in the movie.
Oh, does he just like solve the problem rather than think through it like in the
It's
book?
usually you see him sitting down going, it's either an overlay of him while you see him doing it.
Yeah.
So he like skims it. This is roughly how I did it. And then you see him doing it and you're like, oh, that's how he solved the problem.
Right.
Whereas in the book, it's like half a chapter of him going like, I need this many square footage of viable soil. Which means I need to fill up all the bunks with plants, every possible ground floor level with plants, and even like these collapsible, expandable tents, which were not in the movie.
Oh, really?
None of that stuff was in the movie. Instead of just like in the movie, it was just like, this is a circle room that I have off to the side. That's where I'll grow the plants.
Right.
And then he grows them.
Then he grows them.
He blows up a couple of times.
He blows up a couple of times, yes.
That's a really good point. There isn't a lot of science with that. He's like, I have this idea, and then he does it.
Yes.
And he fails a couple of times for dramatic effect, and then he does it.
And then he solves the problem. Yeah. Because obviously, to just have him sit there and narrate like he does in the book about how he solved all the problems would be very drawn out and very dull. So like a whole segment of the book is him trying to get as much water as he can.
Yeah.
Because then, he needs X amount of water. So it's all about him like rigging one of the spacesuits that he has as like a water holding container and all this sort of stuff. And like at one point he buggers off for a week to go and get the Mars rover so he can communicate with Earth.
Yeah, the Pathfinder.
The Pathfinder, yeah. And in the book, there's like a chapter of him saying, how am I going to keep these plants alive for the week that I'm gone?
That's a good point.
And it's all about him like cranking up, like fucking with the machine so it stops extracting water out of the air. And like, so he cranks the humidity up in the dome to like extraordinary levels, so like the place is dripping with water.
Yeah.
And then he turns it off and he leaves. Then he survives long enough because he's not there to water the plants.
Yeah.
And he hasn't got like an irrigation system.
Yeah.
But so stuff that's implied is that obviously he figures out a way to keep the plants alive while he's gone. But there's just a lot of implication in the movie that's not in the book. Because they have room to talk about all this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And they even just blatantly skip over stuff. Because at one point near the end of the movie, he's got Pathfinder that he uses to communicate with Earth and all that sort of stuff. But then right near the end of the movie, he's just like, well, I can't communicate with Earth anymore. But that's never explained in the movie as to why he can't.
Oh, whereas in the book he like electrified the ship by accident with his drill.
Yeah. He had like an electric drill that he was using. You remember how he drilled all the holes in the rover? In the book rather, he accidentally fries the Pathfinder, the stuff that's sending the signal to space.
Yeah.
Because it's somehow hooked up to the chassis via, I think because he was using the batteries of the rover to like charge the Pathfinder so it'd work. I can't remember.
Yeah, somehow there was a
connection
material
between
Pathfinder and his cable that he leans a drill on.
Yeah, he put the drill down and the power from the drill just ran through the chassis and fried Pathfinder. So he was no longer able to communicate with Earth.
Oh.
Which is just completely
That's
skipped
just
over.
Yeah, I didn't know that happening.
At one point here, he's just like, well, I'm by myself now for like the next X amount of
I remember
year
that.
or so. After like the explosive decompression.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's just like, well, I can't communicate with Earth anymore. In the book, it makes perfect sense because he's like, I fucked up.
That was
in the
that
movie.
bit in the book with the explosive decompression. I was like, I know he's going to get off, and there's still half a book to go, but he's fucked.
Yeah.
Now, one thing that this is the problem I had now that we're talking about the explosive decompression, is how come he didn't start over? He was there for like 2 years. Where'd all of his shit go? Why didn't he start over again?
Well, didn't all his potato plants get killed?
Well, yeah, but he already had harvested a bunch of potatoes. Surely he would have had 1 or 2 that weren't frozen.
I don't know.
Yeah, so that was like, as I was watching the movie again after I finished reading the book, just to like refresh my memory. Also, I think it's a really amusing movie to watch. After like the explosive decompression, and he was like, well, the plants are fucked. I was like, yeah, but you started off with like such a tiny amount of like fecal material because of like the 6 days you're on the planet.
Yeah.
You've been there for like fucking 2 years at this point.
You must have a ton of shit.
You must have so much shit.
Well, no, but all that shit would have been exposed to the
Mars elements.
The Martian atmosphere, and all the bacteria would have died.
Well, the other shit didn't.
But that was like
no, but that was like safe inside the hab.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, well,
Not in the movie, it wasn't.
No, it wasn't the movie because he had it in like little foil packs.
Yeah, but that was outside.
no, but
Yeah,
it was
but
a foil
it was
pack
sealed.
airtight
Yeah, maybe why is his shit not in foil packs as well?
Yeah.
because he didn't think he
Shitting
needed it.
Well, no, it was an automatic process of the space toilet that they were using. That it dehydrated and fucking vacuum sealed the shit.
I don't know then.
Anyway, my point was that was just something I got really curious about when I was rewatching it.
Right.
Alright, well, we can either keep talking, we're sort of running out of time a little bit. Is there any other pertinent points that you guys would like to make about The Martian?
I enjoyed the book. It wasn't perfect, but it was well worth a read.
Mm.
I enjoyed the movie. It wasn't perfect, but it was well worth the watch.
There is one thing that I missed in the movie.
Yeah.
Is that in the book, when he's going to the other location,
Yeah.
he's travelling to get there, there's a whole heap, fucking host of shit
Oh
happens.
yeah, because he's just there.
He just shows up. In the movie, he's like, well, I'm heading off. I've been here so many days. He signs the wall and he buggers off. And he's all like emaciated and stuff because he's been on rations and all that sort of stuff. And then he's like, well, I'm at the site.
Ah.
Yeah. And he's just skinny.
And he's just skinny. Yeah.
Right.
And then he eats his final meal and he starts pulling the ship apart to go back up to space.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was like 3 whole chapters.
There's like so much
Oh yeah,
stuff
it
that
was
happened.
just like him.
He like
a
rolled
big,
the rover and everything.
Yeah, he crashed the rover
that
and...
doesn't have it. It's just like a big like aeroplane aerial shot of heliplane shot of him going across the Mars
The tundra.
terrain, the tundra, and then he's there.
What about the dust storm?
No, it's not part of it.
What
Really?
does storm?
Yeah. There was like, in the book, there's this really slow, very fine dust cloud that's sort
Yeah.
of moving across
And
the
it was
atmosphere.
inhibiting his solar panels
Yeah,
because not
and
as much sunlight is getting.
He has to drive and recharge,
Yeah.
drive and recharge. And they were like, they had no way of communicating with him
Yeah.
at that point. So they knew it was coming and they knew he was going right fucking into it.
Mm.
But it was a whole thing of him going like, wait a minute, I've got like 98% of what charge I usually get, you know? And then it's like, today it was 96%.
Some things.
And then he like wanders off and he's like, man, it's dusty in the distance. And he looks back and it's clearer behind him.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, fuck. He realizes, you know, and they were like, if he keeps going, eventually he's going to hit a point where he can't get out of it.
Yeah,
Because
he doesn't have the
right, 'cause
power.
He
wouldn't
won't have the power
yeah.
to do it. Yeah. And then he would just die.
Yeah. Holy shit.
And then it was like...
That's so tense. Why would they put that in the movie?
It was really
That's
tense.
awesome.
Well, how long was the movie? Because
It's like
it's
quite
already,
long.
2.5 hours.
yeah, like you got to cut something.
Yeah, well, cut out the part where he's fucking being a cunt. I can't think of any part to cut out. I was gonna say cut out the part where he's making potatoes. Like, but that's pretty important.
Did they put in like any of the scenes where he was just jacking it?
No.
No.
I don't
he
even
jacked it in the
remember...
books?
No.
No.
Oh man.
But then, yeah, he's like, oh shit, I'm in a cloud. And then he's like, I got to go around it. I got no time to back off and pick another direction.
Yeah.
So he's like, but which direction do I go? If I go one way and it turns out I'm on the very edge of it and I'm heading in towards it, I'm
Yeah.
fucked.
Yeah.
And if I go the other way and whatever, it's the same situation. So then he like sets up these like solar meters. Like he drives for 2 hours or a day in one direction,
Yeah.
and he sets up a meter where he's got like a camera watching the solar panel charger to see how long it takes to charge. And then he goes in the other direction, he does that, and he collects them, and he's like, okay, I've got to go that way, and then that he
That's
goes around it.
genius.
It's super interesting, and I was like, why wasn't this in the movie?
That's so. Oh my god, I'm so upset now. Now I want to read this
Yeah,
book.
read the book. It's a good
I
book.
might have to. Never have.
And then there's like a whole thing where
Because you can't read.
he's got to go down into the crater where they landed the ship,
Oh,
and there's like a natural ramp, but some of it's all powder, and then he rolls the fucking ship,
Oh, nice.
rolls the rover, and he's got to like get it back on its feet and get down there, and
Oh
it's
my
like
God.
everything's all fucked.
Jesus.
Anyway, it's really interesting, and I'm really
Thanks.
upset they left that out of it, but I understand why they did.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Be in the director's cut.
probably. Yeah, they probably didn't shoot all that stuff.
No.
Absolutely
that
not.
shit's a little
Like
expensive.
an extra half an hour of fucking filming. Of footage, rather. Okay, so...
6 months worth of CG.
Russell, what would you rate it out of the book?
The book.
This is ostensibly a book club.
I think I gave it 3 stars on Goodreads.
Out of 5,
Out of 5.
I was going to say, that was fucking
That's terrible.
abysmally low if it's out of 10. So about 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
If my math is right on that.
It's not, but yeah.
Well, 3.5 out of 5.
I
Isn't
said
that...
3.
Three. so
Oh,
it'd
did
be
you say
6.
3? Sorry, I thought you said 3.5.
I don't think Goodreads lets you do half stars.
I don't think so, probably not.
It's a pretty blunt instrument. But
Yeah.
3 is like pretty good, 4 is really good, 5 is like best book ever.
Best book ever. I plowed through the book in about a day and a half.
Yeah, I was like, I'm going to ration this because we've got to talk about it in a month's time. I don't want to burn all through it. And then the next day you're like, it was a good book.
Well, I am a voracious reader.
Yes.
I read quite a lot and quite quickly.
You read like I eat.
It's true. Yes, Russell's a very quick eater. Huh. But yeah, I'll polish a book off like that. It was a real page turner, which didn't hurt. It was a very interesting read, and it really flowed quite well. He was very humorous. So I'd give it about, if we're going by, should we give our book scores out of 5?
Oh, you can do what you like.
Well, you've started it off now, Russell, and this is your segment idea, so we'll go with that.
Alright.
I will give it a 4 out of 5, actually, because I
Cool.
found it really amusing and a real good page turner. So there you go. But I think now that we've had that delightful banter and no weird segues or racist, rude remarks, we should cut to It was more us than you.
Oh, I didn't even get to review it.
Oh, you even read the book?
Yeah, but I can still rate the movie.
All right, go on. What do you think of the movie? Well, the movies tend to go out of 10.
Out of 10? Okay,
Movies.
I will rate it 7.5 skinny Matt Damons out of 10.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
You've even done it by official rating criteria, which is something to do with the movie.
How many Fat Matt Damons?
3.5.
Half, yeah.
3.25.
You'd go by at least half, yeah.
No, 3.75.
Fair enough.
To make it, if my math is correct.
If your math is correct.
Because I was gonna do 3.5 skinny Matt Damons out of 5.5, just to make it difficult.
All right, but we need to move on to Force Review.
Yeah.
Force Review. It is the segment in which, week about, we force the other person to watch something that they haven't and review it on the show. Yeah, that was pretty good. I kind of fucked it up last week, but that was pretty good. And as his finale, seeing as how Russell is going away for a week, I made him...
I'm coming back.
Yeah, it's a mid-season finale.
Yeah, we don't know about that. You're going to America, anything could happen.
The Tim and Alan Show. Featuring Russell.
Tim and Alan Show sounds like a fucking Nickelodeon
It sounds
show.
like a Home Improvement spin-off.
Yeah.
It does actually. You know, I never twigged that it's Tim Allen.
Yeah,
I named it Tim and Allen.
Yeah.
Anyway. It's fucking got nothing to do with anything.
Yeah, no.
Last week, as your finale, I made you watch a movie called Boondock Saints.
Yes.
Which I watched a long time ago, and I rather liked when I was a teenager. I haven't seen it since. Didn't rewatch it. Just relying on my memory here.
That's fine.
And it was made in 1999, actually, so pre-2000.
Post The Matrix.
Post The Matrix? I have no idea what year The Matrix was made in.
2001?
So
98, I think. Or 99.
Then why would
Not
it be
important,
post?
really.
Oh, wait, right, because it's, after.
And as always, we have to look at the tagline,
Yes.
which is consistently awful, which is Brothers, Killers, Saints, which is fucking god-awful. And it was directed by a guy called Troy Duffy. So I have no idea who that is. So
This movie had a very troubled production. So
did it really?
That's probably why you don't know.
Have you been doing some reading?
I did a bit of a look through on Wikipedia and such.
Fair enough, the trivia section of the IMDb page.
Yeah.
Well, it's got one of my favourite actors in it, which is Dafoe. I love William Dafoe.
I thought you were going to say Ron Jeremy.
Is Ron Jeremy in this?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I'm gonna rewatch it now. But yeah, and it's got some guy from Walking Dead. Who cares? Whatever. William Dafoe's in this.
Norman Reedus.
Norman
Plays
Reedus.
Daryl on The Walking Dead.
Yeah. When I was reading
He isn't even in the comics, I think, his character.
No, he's not.
Yeah.
But when I read the half of the plot synopsis, because I was supposed to watch it, then was supposed to read the plot synopsis, then read half of it. He does not, to my knowledge, kill any zombies in this. So
No.
I don't
Very
know how I
disappointing
feel.
in that regard. He does kill a bunch of people, though.
Yeah, I've heard that, but they're not zombies, but they're Russians, so I don't know.
Yes. No crossbows either. I don't know.
No, you're not selling that to me. But Willem Dafoe's in it,
William
and
Dafoe.
I enjoyed him in
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man, and he's Green Goblin, wasn't he?
He was.
Hey, look at that! I actually recognise a character for once. And also in Life is Strange, Beyond Two Souls video game.
Is he a voice? Obviously.
No, his like actual character was in there, his figure
Ellen Page.
with Alan Page. Yeah.
Everybody else is just fake characters, and it's like he grabs on. It's like I'm Dafoe.
It's Willem Dafoe.
Hello,
Willem?
game player.
Yeah, because I read that this morning and it said
It is Willem.
It's
Willem
Willem
Dafoe.
Dafoe, and I was like, I have to make sure I get it right because Alan will be like, it's Willem, you idiot. And
No,
I
for years I thought it was William Dafoe.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Willem.
He's one of my favourite actors. I had no idea about that.
The only person in the world called Willem.
I really love the concept of like this video game going on, and everybody's like playing character. Ellen Page is like a character and all that stuff. And
I've
then
got the
it's like-
spirit haunting me. He's like, but I'm Willem Dafoe.
It's like it just comes up. Hello, everybody. I'm Willem Dafoe.
And so the guy comes out.
Star of
just like
such
him.
movies as Spider-Man
So he's
and
Troy
Boondock
McClure.
Saints.
He's Troy McClure.
Sure, he's Troy McClure.
And he pulls out an identical twin brother. He's like, this is my brother, William Dafoe.
All right, Russell, this is your review, and you've said no words. So
Funny about that.
Funny about that.
Can I just quickly ask, did you only play Beyond Two Souls because is Ellen Page in the shower?
She's in the shower? She is in the shower. No, I played it because it came free with my PS3, and I was like, oh, this looks alright. And then it was a 2-player game, and it turned out to be fantastic. And Kara cried at the end, as she does with every video
Pretty
game.
much, yeah. Kara, your lovely fiancée.
Yeah.
I should say, yes.
Newly updated fiance.
Anyway,
proceed.
the Boondock Saints.
Now you got 2 people interrupting.
This is great.
Standard pop culture pontification.
Boondock Saints is a movie about killing people.
Mm-hmm. It's very, very violent movie.
Yes. That is the entire plot, as far as I can determine.
Well, killing bad people.
Yes. I
Are you
have
sure you watched this movie, Russell?
many problems with this movie.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah.
Am I looking at this movie through rose-tinted glasses, perhaps?
Well, opinion is subjective, but this movie is...
You did, no, really?
No.
The real,
We're
getting an advanced screening of the score this movie's going to get with a
Yeah.
big old thumbs down from Russell. Yeah.
like Boa versus Python level of blur.
No, this is way worse.
Oh, okay.
Really?
So
Wow.
Norman Reedus and the other guy play 2 Irish...
No rumors. And that guy who was
Strong-
in nothing else.
Strong start.
Yeah.
Sean Patrick Flannery.
Yeah,
by the
him.
way.
Who was cast because he looks like Norman Reedus?
Well, I think he's
Because I think they're
actually
supposed to be
Irish.
brothers.
Yeah, they're twins.
Yeah, there you go.
Anyway, they get picked on by these Russian mobsters and almost killed.
Just to interject, I'm very sorry. Just to interject that the Sean Patrick Flannery, the other Boondock brother, is in his little known for. It is known for the Boondock Saints and the Boondock Saints 2. Fun fact: there is a sequel that's worse than the first one. Yeah.
Next week on Force Review.
They get picked on by these Russian mobsters.
I don't think do they know that they're Russian mobsters when they get picked on, or are they just some douchebags?
I've tried to say this sentence like 3
Fine,
times.
fine. I feel like that's a valid question, but proceed, you salty bitch.
Good lord.
The Russian gangsters are about to execute Daryl, and I'm just going to call him Daryl because I don't remember his character's name. And his brother saves him. They rob the now dead gangsters and trade their weapons and money for... They go to this shop, which is in the Hitman games, maybe you don't, but in the Hitman games, as you amass weapons, you get this room in your safe house, which just has every weapon you've got up on the wall on these racks. And when you want to
stock standard,
go to the shooting range, you take them off the wall and you go and go to the shooting range. So the guys go to this shop that's like that, and the guy's like, yeah, take whatever you want. And so they go at the back and they're checking out all these sniper rifles and things, and they end up getting silenced pistols and ski masks. And then the rest of the movie is just them murdering people.
I think if memory serves, there is a whole subplot about them taking on the Russian mafia.
No.
No?
No.
But there is a whole thing with William Dafoe.
Yeah, William Dafoe is the FBI investigator who's trying to find out who's murdering all these people.
But aren't they all murdering bad guys? Isn't that the fucking plot? They're killing bad people.
Yeah, but that's not
They're
developed
not
at all.
They're not psychopaths who are just killing children.
It's just these guys are gangsters. But the only gangstery things they do is play cards or sit around in a hotel room. And then these guys just bust in and execute everybody. And there's the whole movie is trying to put across this moral thing is it still bad to kill a bad person? But the bad people in this movie don't do anything bad.
Well, maybe it's poorly filmed. Maybe it's just not shown all the bad stuff. That maybe it's they're known in the neighborhood.
Well, maybe that's true. But that doesn't make it a good movie.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying, I guess I'm just because I watched this when I was 18 or whatever when it first came out, and I was back in the days when it was watching Escape from New York and stuff with
that's a great movie.
It is a great movie with Snake Plissken going around and fucking dudes up and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And Boondock Saints sort of fell into that sort of category of two bros going around fucking shit up and is having a great time doing so.
They one of their friends, Rocco, I think his name was, He
Rocco, yeah.
is like a low level. How do you know?
Because I read the pop synopsis. Because I saw it and I was like, this seems familiar. So.
He is like a low level guy in the Italian mob, and he hates his boss. And so once he finds out that his friends are going around assassinating all these guys, he's like, oh yeah, come with me and we'll go assassinate all the Italian guys too. And he is just a giant asshole. He's just cursing constantly, and he like is horrible to his girlfriend, and then they accidentally kill her cat.
I don't remember that at all.
They're like having an argument around a table with like a gun on the table, and he like slams his hands on the table. The gun goes off, the cat literally liquefies against the wall.
Oh god, it's terrible.
This is the point in the movie where I'm like, yeah, 0, goodbye. And I watched the rest because it is a forced review. But
oh really? Yeah, so like the killing point was the fact that an animal got shot.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
For no reason. Like it didn't advance the plot at all. It's just like these guys are assholes.
Okay.
But
then you get the whole Billy Connolly scene.
Oh yeah, that was really bizarre. I did like when he turned up because he looks quite scary in this movie.
He does. Oh, for other people and Tim who probably didn't get this far in the plot synopsis.
No.
the mobsters, I believe.
Yeah,
they want to get like an assassin to come and take care of these guys who are killing all the dudes.
Oh yeah, I read his name. It's something.
Anyway,
it's like Nuno.
Il Duce, which is
yeah, okay.
The
anyway,
Duke, which is also what they called Mussolini.
Interesting.
Some weird bit of fact knowledge you got there.
Yeah. I got facts on this movie to come up, so
okay.
Don't worry.
And this guy's in prison, so they get him out of prison. And
it's not really explained how.
It's not really brought up. But it's Billy Connolly, the comedian.
He's a great comedian.
He's a brilliant comedian. I love him. And he's just like he's this guy, this assassin who just walks around with 6 guns. So he's got like 2 up under his armpits, 2 on his holsters, and 2 on his back, I think. I can't remember exactly where the position. And he'll just like shoots, like pulls the 2 guns out and starts double pistoling these guys. But then he just throws those guns away and pulls out the other 2 and starts taking them out as well. And I think that's a great scene where they're like having a gunfight with Billy Connolly.
I mean, they're only like 20 meters away from each other, and he's meant to be like a super assassin. I feel like one of them could have killed the other one.
Okay.
Yeah, you can't be an assassin at 20 feet.
Do we care about spoilers here at this point? Okay, yeah, and it turns out that he's their dad.
Ah.
Okay,
well, I can understand why this is a cult classic then, because that seems like a big twist.
I
can't tell if you're being like super sarcastic.
No, I'm being serious. Like that's a cool twist.
But his character is not developed at all, except that he's like a super assassin.
Cool. That's a listen.
And then he like comes up behind them.
And then they do this thing where after they kill someone, they say a prayer. This prayer that they got taught when they were kids.
Yeah.
And that's an integral plot point that we sort of little skipped over a bit.
Yeah.
And they kill someone, and then Billy Connolly, as the assassin, comes up and he has his 2 guns out and he's about to shoot them when they kneel down and they start doing this prayer.
Yeah.
And it's at that point that he realizes...
I like this, I'm Irish as well.
Yeah, and no. It's at that point where he realizes that that's the prayer that he taught his kids, or something along those lines. Gotcha. It's like a family thing.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh shit, these are my kids, I can't kill them.
Right.
And so on.
And then they like bro out. And then
they bro out, yes. And then even I admit that the ending is ridiculous.
Where they break into a courtroom and just execution style kill this guy who's on like being charged with a crime.
Yeah.
But they're like, oh, he's gonna be acquitted. Let's fucking murder him in the courtroom.
All right.
He's like one of the masters. He's like one of the mob.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
One of the mob. All right.
But before we get to that point.
Oh, okay. Was there something else I've missed?
More liquefying cats.
The Saints, as they're called.
Yes.
And Rocco, their friend,
mm-hmm.
Have been killing hundreds of gangsters, and eventually they get captured. It's not explained how. They just show up at the bad guy's place in cuffs.
Fair enough.
And
God, I gotta watch this again now. This is vastly different to my memory of an awesome movie that I watched once.
The bad guy's like, oh, I can't believe you betrayed me, Rocco, and then shoots him. And the Saints start screaming and wailing like, oh no, you killed our friend, oh, he's dead, I can't believe he's dead. And they have killed so many people up to this point without a sliver of remorse. And this guy was
the inconsistency.
Fucking scum. He was an asshole.
He was their scum, Russell.
Yeah. You gotta be careful.
This movie upset me.
Did it really?
Yeah.
You see, this is another one of those situations. Like every now and then, I'll give Russell a movie to review, and I'll be like, Russell will hate this movie. Evil maniacal up, and then you come back and you're like, that was great.
Yeah.
I loved it. And then other times I'm like, oh, look at this awesome movie, and you're like, it was terrible.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is one of the latter situations. Yes. So I can't remember exactly how it ends. It ends with the court scene, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yes, where they
And
go
then
in and like execution style this guy.
And then it cuts to like news interviews of people being asked like, oh, what do you think of these guys who are going around murdering gangsters? Do you think it's right? And people are like, oh, no, I think that's bad. You shouldn't do that. And other people are like, yeah, fucking kill everyone.
Oh, there is a whole subplot based around William Dafoe. Trying to find out who the bad guys are.
Oh, God, that was the worst bit.
Because, like, right at the beginning when William Dafoe is starting to, like, conduct the investigation on who these guys are, and there's, like, a real cliche moment where they're in the police precinct, and it's like, they're not like the killers of these people are just going to walk through the door.
Yeah, no,
at which point the Boondock Saints just walk through the door.
Yeah.
This is before they started killing everybody. Like, really seriously. And then, at that point, William Dafoe pretty much just falls in love with him as the FBI investigator or whatever he is. And
he's also a homosexual, which is played for laughs at several points.
Yes.
Is that like important to the plot, or it's just like a? Well,
I always assumed that the reason why
it's because the director wants to be Quentin Tarantino about it.
Oh right, so it wants to be controversial.
Yeah,
I always figured it out. Yeah. I always figured it that the reason why William Dafoe refused to like admit that they were the bad guys, refused to consider them for the crimes, was that as a gay person he was attracted to them, and he didn't think on some level he was infatuated with them, and so they couldn't do any wrong in his eyes.
Possibly, but at the end he
he completely
goes to their side.
He completely flips. He goes from
fuck being a police officer. Yeah. I'm going to assassinate mobsters too.
He does do that, yes. And at one point he dresses up as a woman.
Yeah, and seduces a gangster.
Seduces a gangster to help them out and stuff like that.
This movie has everything.
It does. It's cross-dressing Willem Dafoe. He's not very convincing as a woman, I gotta say.
He's got a weird face for a woman.
He does have a weird face.
Yeah, because I know his face, and I don't see how that would work or be convincing.
He wears big dark glasses and a wig.
So
he's a bit of he's a big tranny, basically.
Mrs. Doubtfire.
It's a kind of, yes.
Okay.
So it could have just been that the gangster was like, yeah, I don't mind getting sucked off by a tranny, that's fine.
Hey, we don't know his sexual
true.
proclivities.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Now, I am really... I have seen half of Boondock Saints 2. And it is worse than Boondock Saints. Am I willing, when Russell comes back from his holiday, to force myself to watch all of Boondock Saints 2 so I can force Russell to review Boondock Saints 2?
These are the questions. Well, I've got my facts, which...
Oh, yeah, no, you got some business for
us. So
I
got some, because obviously I didn't watch it, so I was like, I'll get some interesting facts. So, commercially, in terms of box office, absolute abysmal fail. Absolutely.
We talked a little bit about this before the podcast. So there's a very valid reason why it was
which we'll get to. So, $6 million budget, made $30,000.
$6 million budget is pretty cheap.
It's very, very cheap for a movie, and
for a super blockbuster. But
this was made by. This wasn't a fucking indie movie.
Yeah, this is quite a long. Well, kind of an indie movie.
Kind of, sort of.
It's not done by 20th century. Movie. It's done by companies that I can't pronounce. But it made at the box office less money than I made last year at my job. So to put it in perspective, so $30,471. But it is considered a cult classic success because it made $50 million in domestic video sales. That's a lot of VHS.
That is a hell of a profit margin.
Yeah. So yeah. But the reason why it only got released in 5 theaters in its first week due to the Columbine High School Columbine school massacre.
It was actually the German Columbine. It's Columbine.
Wouldn't that be German. Yeah, Swedish. Yeah, that's what I was going for. Anyway.
Popculture Pontification. Taking a light-hearted approach to atrocities.
Yeah. So obviously they had the school massacre, which is
it's all about people getting shot.
Yeah. So
for no apparent reason.
Really bad time for that.
Really bad timing.
It's not as any kind of comparison, but it's Deep Impact versus Armageddon. Came out the exact same time.
I was actually going to talk about this. There is some weird societal thing, or whether it's just something in the film industry. I read an article about it the other day, about how films that are almost identical will just get released at the same time.
Yeah.
Like Deep Impact and Armageddon.
Yeah. Ants and Bug Life.
Babe, the movie Babe with the pig, and there was another pig. I can't remember the fucking name of it because obviously it wasn't as big a commercial success.
Yeah.
But another pig movie got released the same year as Babe, And I can't remember them all. There was a massive list of 30 movies. I was like, these are all the movies that got released in the same year that are nearly identical. And apparently it's like, whether it's like they get to the script stage in production, and then other people are like, oh, they're doing a movie about a pig. We better do a movie about a pig as well.
Yeah, it's probably just some executive who's like, oh, I was having coffee with, Executive Joe over there.
Gordy.
And here they're making a pig movie.
Gordy is the pig movie.
Why don't we have a pig? Let's get a pig.
Oh, wow, yeah, there's a lot of them. Sorry,
I'm
looking up. So you've got like The Illusionist and The Prestige.
Fuck this list.
Which is
nobody wants
great.
to read a list.
But I'm just saying, it's a thing that happens.
I walked out on The Illusionist, by the way. That's a terrible movie.
Really?
Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
Olympus Has Fallen and White House Down.
Yeah, that was actually quite a recent one.
Yeah. Friends with Benefits. And
that's enough.
It's a lot.
It's very. We'll post the link in the in the link dump.
But no, this is an interesting read.
Anyway, getting back on track.
Oh,
Russell,
I just
you
want to
have
close out this first
you have a bile to flow out of your mouth towards this movie.
No, I've only got one more thing.
Okay, go on.
0 out of 10.
0 out of 10.
Yeah.
Not a single redeeming quality in it.
Was the only redeeming quality is that the song over the end credits was quite nice.
It's had one good song in the soundtrack.
Yeah.
Not even worth to give it.
No, it's not worth a point.
Not worth a point.
Wow.
It could have got some points, except that they killed the cat.
Okay. That was like, it wasn't a real cat, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Trauma is still there.
But
now we've both had a 0 score. Mine
2 weeks
was
in a row.
2 weeks in a row. Mine was for Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Yeah.
For not only horrible movie, but because it shat over a film franchise that I've loved for like 20 years.
Well, this movie shat all over Quentin Tarantino movies by poorly imitating them.
Fair enough. It is a bit Pulp Fiction-y, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe.
But without any of the without any of the scenes in between, and none of the development of the characters.
All right. We can't keep going on about this.
It's become a review to a debate.
No, I'm not
Forced
defending
debate.
it. I watched it like 10 years ago, and clearly I had a rose-tinted glasses on if it was this bad. I might have to go back and give it a look.
Well, opinion is personal.
Subjective.
Yeah.
Yes. But now we've reached a moment in which you need to give me. So, the way we're going to do this is because you've gone for a month.
Yeah.
You've got to give me something big to review.
Yeah.
That's going to last me, something I can really dig my teeth into while you're gone.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I am going to give Tim something to review, something for us to talk about next week.
Yeah.
So
that means I'm going to be back on the show.
You will be back next week.
Oh, I want to be in the credits.
So what's the meaty thing you've got me to sink my teeth into? You've had some time to think about this.
Well, I've got 2 options for you. Do you want to watch something,
choices.
or do you want to read something?
Watch or read?
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting this. I was expecting a game, to be honest.
Oh.
No.
Plot thickens.
Well, do you want to give me both options and then I can pick, or?
No.
I got to pick?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if a book is going to last me more than a week.
Well, the show might not either. Depends
Well,
how heavily you binge
It's a show.
Well, no, I figured it out. Wasn't a movie. Yeah.
A movie that takes.
It's actually Dances with Wolves,
6
so it's going to take me like 3 weeks to watch.
Yeah.
God, that's a long movie.
Man, I
Pick
saw
watch.
that movie when I was like 10 years old.
Me
Dude
too,
get
yeah.
scalped. That fucked me up.
You made Russell the man he is today.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, give me the book.
The book is Snow Crash by Neil Stevenson.
Now, you asked me if I'd read this before.
Yeah.
I've never heard of it. But we won't. We'll leave it as a bit of a mystery. If people want to look it up, we can look it up,
Yeah.
and we'll come back to it later.
I
What was the TV show? Out of curiosity.
Vikings.
Oh, I've already seen like half of that. Anyway.
Have you?
Yeah.
I thought you hadn't seen it.
No, I've seen a few episodes.
Okay, well then
That seems like
scratch
the
that.
exact kind of show that Alan would watch.
Okay, now Tim,
Yeah.
you are a terrible person
Absolutely.
for many reasons. But one of the reasons,
Let's see where you go with this.
but one of the main reasons why you're terrible is that you've never seen any movies.
This is absolutely true. I've seen surprising movies when you're like, oh, have you seen this? And you're like, have you seen Pulp Fiction? No. Have you seen Kill Bill? Yeah.
I'll tell you the reason that this came into mind is that we were having a conversation the other week and we were like, oh, Indiana Jones or whatever. I think we were talking about Indiana Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. And you're like, I've never seen any Indiana Jones movies. And I was like, what? And then I was like, have you seen any Star Wars movies? And you're like, nope. Have you seen any of these movies? No. Have you seen any Quentin Tarantino's? No. And I was like, And then somebody mentioned A Clockwork Orange, and you're like, "Of course, I've seen that. A fucking Clockwork Orange." And you have
it's like the only primary school. Yeah, it was year 7 final assignment. No, it's the only. I think it's the only R-rated movie I've ever watched.
That can't be true.
Well, apart from
horror
Saw.
movies you watched, yeah.
Saw's not R.
Really?
Yeah.
It's gotta be, surely.
Oh no, I've watched Human Centipede. That's R. I've watched that intently.
All right, I think that's enough.
Okay, so I've proven to your viewers that
you're a piece of
nothing,
shit,
and apparently a piece of shit. I'm not cultured at all.
Russell, I'll give you this one. You get to give the reviews this week.
Yay.
After all of that horrifying nature of what he hasn't seen, what would you most want to make him watch?
Terminator 2.
Terminator 2?
Yeah.
Do we need to make him watch Terminator 1 and 2?
Oh, if he's got time, but Terminator 2.
Terminator 2 is the better of the two. But you'll have more of an understanding.
Is that one of those rare occurrences where the sequel's better than the original?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
The first one is very good.
First one is very good.
Oh, okay.
Second one's just better.
I should watch it because, once again, everything in life, much like My Kitchen Rules, can be referred back to wrestling. And Triple H's entrance this year was based off of Terminator.
There you go. All right.
There you go.
Fair enough.
So
Russell, if you have time, Terminator 1 and 2.
Okay, but the priority is number 2.
The priority is 2.
I will make the best effort I can to watch both of them because Cara has been begging me to watch them for.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
She loves them. My fiance loves them. Absolutely loves them.
And this is going to be the thing that pushes you over the edge.
I'm going to get home and she's going to be like, "Why were you so late?" I'd be like, I'm forced to watch Terminator. She's like, "Well, let's get started." And she'd mysteriously pull out a bag of popcorn out of nowhere.
Terminator Blu-ray out of the other pocket.
Yeah.
Well, if you've enjoyed the podcast, you can contact us on popculturepon@gmail.com, and you can go to our website at popculturepon.weebly.com, at which Russell faithfully every week posts a blog post that is very humorous links that relate to the content that we've talked about in this thing.
Yeah.
And every week he gets very upset that even though
nobody fucking reads,
nobody fucking comments. We don't know.
It takes me hours.
Okay, well it shouldn't.
I didn't even know you guys had a website or a Gmail.
Do you never get to this point when you listen to the podcast?
Well, no, it's just shameless plugs, and I was like, it's like if you want to contact us, I'll just call you.
Okay. And actually, we have something new this week. We have a subreddit.
Yeah.
Yes, which Russell forgot all about when he did the blog post last week.
I didn't forget.
Yeah, we got a subreddit, which is r/popculturepon.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
So there you go. I actually wanted to make it with our official Reddit account, but I didn't. You can only make it when you've existed for long enough, and you have a certain amount of posts or likes or links or whatever.
Right.
And I was short. So I made like some sort of shit post on our pics. Just something we mentioned on our Facebook page. The one with the 2 actresses who look alike. I can't remember their names.
Yeah.
And I was like, I posted it on our pics. I was like, look at these 2 actresses. They look pretty alike. And everybody's like,
front page?
No, absolutely not. Everyone was just like, you're a piece of shit.
Classic Reddit.
And I was just like, I got upset by it because I was like, oh, what the fuck? Come on. But then I went back and I was like, make your own subreddit. I was like, it was enough. So
but yeah, like a singular tear comes down your face. Like, they hurt my feelings, but I can do it.
It's pretty rough, guys. But I got either the comments or the upvotes that I needed.
You should post back in that subreddit and be like, fuck you guys, I got a subreddit.
Anyway, so we have a subreddit now, and on there, if that's your jam, if you like Reddit, you can go there, and we'll have the same content as the blog posts put in there that you'll be able to have a look at.
Yes, Twitter, popculturepon, etc.
Yes.
Facebook,
you're apparently Yoda, because you said that backwards.
/popculturepon. Come and talk to us on those things.
Yes. And, Tim, before we go to the final little bits, is there anything as president of Pixel Expo you would like to say before we sign off?
So last time I was on here, I was brought on for the specific reason of plugging an event that ended up getting cancelled.
That day.
That day, yeah. So I'm not going to plug that event. What I will do is plug our quiz night that is coming up, our second and first for this year, annual quiz night. First
now you can say annually. Annual
quiz night. It's last one we sold out very quickly. We've already a third of the way through our ticket sales for this one, and it's only been up for a couple of days.
And we won the last one.
That's the most important thing to
we
take
talked
away
about
from
that on the first episode of Popculture Pontification.
That is very true, yeah. So it's all come full circle.
And this is episode 20, so there you go.
Yeah.
They had 20 years.
The final episode.
Literally 20 weeks later.
Yep, there we go. So
do you have the dates off the top of your head?
Yes, it is on the 20th, I believe, of March, on a Sunday at 5 p.m. at Rosie O'Grady's, for those of you in Perth.
Mm-hmm.
I
think even if you don't have a table, you can just show up and have
absolutely. It's better if you book a table, because if you get a table at 10, you get a discount. You don't have to pay full price.
That's it.
Takes it down to $13.
There's always, every quiz night I've ever been to, there's always
a random.
Always a table of randoms.
Random table. And you know what? They usually do pretty well.
Yeah.
So, come by
it's
yourself.
An eclectic group of people, and you get, like, it's not... I feel like if you've got a group of friends, you're all generally interested in the same things.
Yeah, so you don't know anything. So when all those wrestling questions come slamming down, you go look for your wrestling friend, and they're like, but we only like movies that I haven't seen.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to officially represent Popculture Pon at the quiz night.
Well, you're going to be wearing your shirt, right?
I have actually looked into getting some Popculture Pon shirts.
Oh, that's so cool.
Like, cool, I'm in lane.
Yeah, but Russell will be away, so
Classic
you won't be able to represent.
That's okay, I'll join your table.
Okay.
I don't think I'm allowed to.
Probably not.
No.
So feel free to do that, and just go to any of Pixel Expo's events.
I appreciate it. We run esport events every 2 weeks that no one goes to, and we run other bar events almost every month.
Mm-hmm.
So actually every month we'll have
actually
events.
Good fun, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, more importantly, we have a very big announcement to make at the quiz night. Very exciting announcement. Which is obviously
you're disbanding.
Proposed. Yeah. Basically, yeah. No, it was getting stronger. No, it's very, very exciting news that we're going to announce at the quiz night, so make sure that you're there.
Okay. And if you have enjoyed this probably slightly lengthy podcast, feel free to come on back next week for another episode of Popculture Pontification.
Three-way always takes longer.
Yes. That's my experience, at any rate.
That's gross.
Well, for everyone to be satisfied, you have to spend a bit more.
You got to pay attention to each individual. You can't leave anybody just standing there high and dry.
Yeah, but there's 3 dudes, and I only have 2 holes.
That's all you need.
Yeah, that's all you need.
Oh wait, yeah. Right. My dick doesn't go anywhere. Got it. It's alright.
That's how it works.
Yeah. I've learned a lot today.